Welcome, Speed Gaming fans, to the Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament for Speed Gaming Live 2024. We have an upper bracket match between Serisan and Eykir. My name is Thavian Hawk. With me in the booth today is Fellison with our tracker Mechlin. Fellison, what are we looking at with these parties and blursings?
Well, as usual with this flag set, we got a party of four first promoted classes. In this case, a knight, a white wizard, and two red wizards, with different classes being available for recruitment on NPCs. So, for our blessings, this knight has plus 15 luck and comes with loot for free. The white wizard is resistant to ice, fire, and earth, and comes with a slab. And as for the red wizard, it's nuke magic at level 8, which comes with 2 free charges, as well as the ruby. And for the classes that are not in the starting party, we've got the thief with the herb and the woodset evade. So 3 stacks of invis if the thief can get the wood chestplate, helmet, and shield. The black belt has the adamant for free and resistance to fire, ice, and status. And our black mage has the cube and fighter armor on promotion.
You know, it's kind of hilarious to see the fighter be the minstrel of the party with that free loot, but it's nice to have that endgame required item taken care of, not having to search it up. And with that ruby in hand, I mean, duplicate, one to hold, one to give to the Titan, that gets access to Sarda very early as soon as they're out of the Inner Sea. But this has definitely been an interesting set of flags so far, and we enjoy watching this tournament. Once they do get going, we do have pretty much standard incentive item locations. All of the Fiend dungeons are incentivized, as well as Marsh, Ordeals, Earth, Marsh, Ordeals, Ice Cave, for instance, Waterfalls, Robot, and so on. But we might not see all of those, because since we have these starting items, they can pick up the party members that have those items and get the items that way, or they can find them in the wild. So you might find them picking up the loot out of Ordeals and just resetting out because it was a wasted dive. It's a interesting situation. Some places are just womps. At this point, I think we're just they're happy they get that early nuke. We've seen some very interesting encounters early on, but these have been relatively fast seeds.
And not only the nuke, but that plus 15 luck on the knight. You've mentioned the loot making them the minstrel, and that running will complete the Edward cosplay.
A bit swoller. Edward was a bit more svelte of a character. But either way, the fun thing I find was
just about to start.
Indeed, they do. I will find it interesting if they do choose to pick up any party members. You can't imagine they'd be willing to get rid of one of those red mages for any other reason than to get an item at this point, because they have the early nuke. But just because they have those 2 charges of nuke, it doesn't mean it's going to be the best option. There could be a low-level nuke they find in the store.
Well, the first thing we see from Eykir's side is that there's an encounter on the very first step of the step counter.
And they're Fire 3 imps, so that is hilarious and would be devastating if they didn't start at level 10 for their already promoted initial party. And the white shirt hint coming there from the hint giver, it looks like it was the robot in Waterfall with the white shirt.
And the magic shops were a pretty great start with Ice 3 and Quadex in black magic, and I think it was at least Hum 3 in white, so that's some early game sweepers for both slots.
Yeah, and Trance creeps in Toph, so there's some interesting early encounters here.
Lovely.
Bit of experience and some gold and 3 boxes in Toph as Eykir makes their way to take on Garland. not bothering to purchase any magic or equipment, just goes straight to Nuke Nuke. Nuke takes care of Garland, Eykir through, and on to talk to the princess. Oh, gets the wall of bats.
And with that, we see the herb that would come on Thief, if it was to be recruited, and the ship from Sarah.
Early Intersea access and fast movement, because we do have Speedboat. That's actually quite good to see. As you said, Harm 3, going to pick that up for the red or the white mage. We do have improved Harm enabled, so that will affect more than just the undead when cast by the white mage. And then Ice 3 and Quad X, kill and sweeper power on top of those nukes. That's extremely valuable. Now the question I have is, does Serisan... yeah, he's just going to go straight to fight big. He can go to Elflin later. He doesn't have enough gold to get Elflin's magic at this point.
That is often the case. Though the gold from BK is usually at least enough to get the level 2 magic.
Yeah, there you go. Ice 3 and Harm 3 instead of menuing to nuke. Save some menuing time and boom. And interesting, we see Eykir pick up that wood armor to put on the knight. There's a Womp slab. We already had that. Lit 3 and Quake at level 2. That's 2 elemental sweepers in the first 2 levels for black magic.
And Nuke to cover anything that would resist those 2 elements, so those red mages are pretty good so far.
Lafane has a Masa +2. That is a hint of hints.
That's definitely something we want to pick up if we don't go for Black Dust strats.
One thing we also definitely want to pick up, and Serisan is doing for sure, is all 4 starting party members can pick up that Life 2 at level 2. The Knight, the Red Wizard, and the White Wizard all going to be able to bring up party members, and since we have Life 1 and 2 enabled in battle, that is a utility in combat, not just out.
Yes, in more usual setups where you get to pick your party, it's usually a bit of a risk to lean heavily on red mages in case they don't get access to good white magic with their limited permissions. But here, with Life 2 on both of them, they will be super valuable.
And the herb check for Serisan brings us the TNT. That's another turn-in chain to go through. Saber and Rub at level 3 black. Nothing too special. Rub is meh. Fade, though, that is white learnable, but is not mage or red mage or knight learnable. So one less sweeper that can be used by the rest of the party, but that's still vanilla nuke, dime store nuke, however you want to. French vanilla nuke. It's an alternate sweeper that the white mage can use at a different level that previously was not being tapped.
Now we see Serisan heading straight for Marsh Cave, not bothering with the TNT at Tanin as is often preferred, not double dipping Dwarf Cave.
Yeah, not only is it avoiding the double dip of Earth Cave, they don't have access to warp or exit thus far, which means they do not, checking the link chest, they do not have an easy way to back out of that dive. If it's an item they want, they have to run it all the way back out. So they can save some time. If you have the key, it might be worth checking if you need some gear, but right now they don't have the key to check the armory, and that one check for the incentive item isn't worth the risk of time. Serisan checking the easy to get 2 boxes on the way to the incentive check. Let's see what this trap tile is. It is vanilla, and this is unusual because we do have shuffle trap tiles on.
And the battle will be progression later. For now, no way to Gaia, so turns out that going straight for the dwarves was the play this time.
Well, I mean, the bottle wasn't something they'd be able to get up from a recruit, so it's nice to see. And since they have the slab, that means they can do Lafane and Gaia in the same trip. Saves some time traveling. One other thing to note is the experience boost. Normally we would have it tied to something like the number of incentive items they have, where they get more experience, more gold, the more items they've got in their inventory. That is actually tied to orbs lit. So with every orb lit, they'll get 50% extra base XP and gold, rather than by collecting all these incentive items. So it's just a stuffed inventory.
Indeed, and that setting for the progressive XP and gold kind of incentivizes going earlier than usual for some of the Fiend dungeons, especially Earth, since it's usually possible with a fairly low level party, but is often considered a bit too long and risky otherwise when the orbs don't have this effect.
Yeah, unfortunately when it comes to Earth, you are blocked out of accessing the Fiend without the Raw, but you can get to the Earth incentive chest. It's the one in the room right behind the vampire, so if worse comes to worse, checking there. And that is a crown from the TNT turn-in with Narek, and a white mage that's going to be left sitting there. They already have a white mage. They've already got white casts from the red mage. No point in getting another white mage at this point.
Eykir checking more boxes in Marsh than Serisan did, picking up an ice shield. That would be a pretty good armor for the night.
That is actually the one check after the incentive that Serisan did pick up, so he does
Oh,
have the ice shield
my bad.
on. No problem. I didn't even mention it at the time. It was a sweet pickup. It is +1, and if they pick up a ninja and promote, that is also armor that the ninja could take. Nuke takes care of the old Dark Elf King, and it's level 11, and the canal, so they have access to the outer oceans.
Indeed, so now the places that opens up that are in interest right now are Sardos Cave and Crescent Lake.
Yep. We've got Melman for the translation and level 5 magic checks. Lit 3 taking care of some undead for Eykir. You assume translate, check the store. In fact, Sarah's going to check the shop here. We have not seen the shop item yet, and tents are pretty cheap. Heal pots are okay. I think houses were in the 2,000 something range. So items so far not bad, and there's a herb hint. That's a womp. We got that.
The only thing of interest in that in Black Level 4 was Zap, and that's a bit on the underwhelming side. Comfort Level 4 is, again, we've got Fade.
Yeah. Harm 4 is normally just against undead, but again, we have improved harm, so that is actually another. Oh, wolves have cremate. That's fun. Again, good thing they started at level 10. These early encounters with the imps and the wolves with burning, painful magic. Oh, there's exit and life and ruse. That level 5 white is unfortunately stacked to the 9s.
Speaking of stacked, Nuke, Breakfast, and Temper.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Final Fantasy only has 3 charges per caster at any given level, and they can't override those casts. So if they purchase a spell, they are locked out of purchasing any other spells they could learn at that level. That's pretty spooky.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what spells each of the runners picks for the red mages.
Saracen seeing, I think that was a thief, and size, nah, don't care. That is the wood helmet though, and we've seen both the wood, or all of the wood armor available in the first few shops. So if they did get that thief, they could get the wood evade stacks and go there, but I doubt it. At this point, you've got a strong knight, and you've got all the life, nuke, fade. This party is probably their end game party. If there's any runner who actually swaps at this point, it'd be like find a good grind and then just see a black belt and say, I guess I'll swap to that.
Power bank from Titan's Tunnel. And the ribbon. Checking those boxes paid off big time.
That is something you might just skip, given the fact that these are not incentivized chests. That is all just loose bonk, loose ribbon. That is a huge find for Saracen. Will Eykir follow it up? That's a good question. What will the old man in the cave have?
Well, one thing about Eykir is that, just like Serisan, he's kept talking to the Grey Dwarf. So unprofessional.
Yeah, leaving the Grey Dwarf to suffer. I feel for the Grey Dwarf. Meanwhile, Serisan gets a defense sword -2. Weirdly enough, the first weapon that they've actually equipped to any member of their party. That's how powerful the Red Mage starting with Nuke is. They did not even bother checking for any good swords or weapons to equip. Meanwhile, Eykir did put a hand axe, I believe, on the knight to start out. Serisan saying, I don't care about Earth Cave right now. I don't have the rod. Gonna go to sea. We do not have the canal, or the canoe, I should say, so they cannot go and check ordeals. And without the floater, there's no point of going to the Ryukun Desert. And of course, they could, since we have all the docks enabled, to go to Onrak and check what's in the store there, but you can't get to a waterfall, you can't get to the into sea because you don't have the Oxyale. It just makes no sense to double dive or deep dive Earth without checking the easier to get to place.
Indeed. So again, the item shop eludes us. White magic just rolled jumps out to me. And black. I think that was our first lock.
Yep, and that was the first mostly Womp magic level we have seen. And the confused old men, find the one that has the item, find the one that has the hint, and find the one that you can make disappear. The hint was about the defense sword. There's
And
the
that's a
one that
fighter
disappears.
hiding in the middle of those.
Yep, and the adamant. So that's another run right into dwarves for Serisan. Hopefully that gets forged into a key, which then gives access to everything else. Or maybe it gets forged into some sort of magical item that can make a ship fly up out of the desert. We have seen some very fast sea. Yeah, we've seen some very fast sky or trips into the sky with these flags, and I'm very much hoping for that again.
Or there's the possibility that the seed is playing some cruel tricks on us and the progression ends up being in the on-rack item shop or even worse, in Earth.
That
But
would be hilarious.
I will not hope for those.
Well, we can't get the vanilla ruby in Earth that takes us to Sarda to get the rod, but what we could get is this turns out to be the Oxyale, and then the rod. Nope, it's the canoe. Okay, I mean, this isn't the old man you normally get it from. This is a dwarven blacksmith, but I guess it's a metal-hulled boat. That opens up volcano, that opens up ice.
And that opens up ordeals.
This is true, but they don't have warp, so I don't see ordeals being the big play. But then again, I'm not running, Serisan is, and he is heading south for some reason. And to the east. That says ordeals.
Well, we don't have warp now, but since it's 7 or even 8, we probably won't have warp until the end game.
Yeah, but you don't need warp if you've got enough survivability to take some hits and enough nuke casts to get rid of anything that you want. And there are some reasonably high experience encounters you can take going through here, and a trap tile or two.
So, as usual, we are in the pillar maze. Which pillar will it be? I'm in the mood for one tonight.
Not one. That was a quick loop back, though. I'm going to say 3. Well, I said 3 as it was 2, but 2 and to the bottom, evidently. Some runners actually have names for all the rooms or numerical. I just go by the ones I've seen, the pillar, and then the up, 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 or up, down, up, or whatever mix there is. And that was a very fast pillar maze. Oh my word, warp wasn't needed at all.
And we say hi to the gargoyles. And bye.
Hey, those are supposed to be in Toph. What's going on here? Meanwhile, Eykir at level 5 in Melman seeing the stocked magic, and X-Cal -1. It may have rolled down, but it's a much more effective sword than that defense -2. So that goes immediately on to Serisan's Knight.
And the katana that we don't have a wielder for. And the Oxyale.
Well, Oxyale gets us to the rod, maybe? And then we go to Earth, and in Earth we get the chime. And then the key comes from the crystal, which is in sea. And then the cube is in volcano. And then we've got everything more or less. And the white shirt,
I
we know
believe
where that is.
you've cited 2 key items in C.
Did I say 2 items in sea?
That doesn't matter.
Whatever. The fun thing will be, we are going to see the waterfall before we see sea, because Serisan is not nearly at the levels you'd expect to dive sea at this point. We have not... Oh, wow. Eykir does go with the thief.
Indeed, and I saw in that inventory a full wood set, so that's a good explanation for that.
Well, there you go. You've got the wood set evasion stack. You've got the herb. Well, they already had that. But that is a trade-off of a newt caster with life magic for the chance of not getting hit. Divergence is real.
With both the Thief and the plus 15 Luck Knight, that's what you will be running from fights very fast.
Eykir going to... Ooh, wow, that is a beautiful pack to find. Those metal slimes go down relatively fast, usually. 350 off the nuke, doesn't have 230. Okay, so 230 or less on those metal slimes is enough to take them out. That is a hugely effective party grind and a safe tile. You can just go in and out of the door or along the bottom of that room and just keep taking that fight. We do not have... Well, if Serisan has exit, I can see him taking this grind. Yep, Flame Sword going on to one of the red mages, Ice Sword on the other. That Flame Sword will have elemental damage on the... or on those metal slimes, so... Yep, taking the grind. I like it.
Meanwhile, Eykir is going to Volcano in a bit of divergence, finding a water tile that's not quite as friendly for a grind, given how much those can hurt.
Yes, water, when it gets moving, it only takes a little bit of water to do a lot of damage, and when it's scalding hot coming out of a volcano, it's usually just, if not more risky. And Serisan deciding to exit out, doesn't want to take that too many charges, I guess, or doesn't want to waste time grinding when they don't have all the orbs. Then there's where the vampire attacked. It was on rack, taking out several shops and desertifying the city. Eykir making their way through the Volcano Armory as Serisan is beelining it to Mermaid's side. And as you can see underneath his screen, he is a glorious member of the Bubble Soda Company, so we may or may not see the carbonation of a certain mermaid.
Well, in the armory that Eykir has raided, there were a couple of pieces of armor like a pro cape and a bit of golden experience, but nothing groundbreaking.
Eykir did not check Sarda or did not check Titans. I don't remember if they did. The ribbon and the defense sword, or the ribbon and the power bonk, I should say, those are huge things to find. Serisan on the mermaid's floor finds a pro ring. That's very nice. We have not seen those in the store just yet. I do not recall. Protection from elemental magics is, or sorry, protection from instant death magic is quite good, even if you have all life casters on your team. Another pro ring and a Zeus bonk and the cube. That is halfway in disguise. Still need the chime to unlock the door to Mirage Tower. But that also does mean that a black mage is not required to pick up because they would have had the cube. And there's a pro cape, another piece of armor. That's the universal shield that can be used by any character. And Bubbles has been carbonated by Bubble Soda Company. Always carbonate your bubbles. For anyone just joining us from Speed Gaming 2, thank you for the raid. You are joining in on the Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament for 2024 for Speed Gaming Live. Bubble Soda Company the team that Serisan belongs to, gloriously loves carbonizing the mermaid we call Bubbles, because, well, she says, will we become Bubbles, or something to that nature. There's other mermaids in that room that we occasionally see carbonated, but Bubbles belongs.
And Eykir finds the opal bracelet. That's going straight on the white wizard.
Yep, that's the best piece of armor that White Wizard can wear short of the white shirt. Even in Native 1, I believe it has more absorb than the white shirt. But the white shirt is Invis 2 on a caster item, so...
Yes, the opal bracelet is in the same level of absorb as the steel armor as well as the fire and ice armor.
Definite endgame equipment there. Eykir substantially less equipped weapons-wise than Serisan at this point, which is actually kind of crazy, but that shows you the divergence that these runners have had, where they've been, what gear they've been picking up, and as Eykir is on the Agama floor checking the 2 boxes where the Agamataya would normally be, Serisan is diving... Oh, Arsax with Sleep Touch. That's fun. Eykir is diving in... Finds French vanilla fires instead of Agamas, and an opal shield. That's huge armor for the knight. Gonna replace that ice shield.
Now, the question that comes to mind is, do we have enough power at this point to take on Carry? I'd say that there's a fair shot at it with Nuke on the red and Fade on the white.
It is possible, and you've got life magic to bring party members up, and that thief has the full wood evasion set on at the start, so you don't even need the defense sword or the power or the white shirt to try and make it hard for Carry to punch the thief. Serisan fading all but those few quick checks on Sharknado is going straight for Carry. I kind of like the daring play, as the ruby is a womp item in Volcano. Volcano is necessary for the orb, but it is not necessary for the incentive item.
Well, that orb will counteract that experience bonus we've been talking about earlier, which is 50% per orb. So that will significantly speed up the leveling up of the party.
Most definitely. We've only seen one tile I would say is good for a grind at this point, and that's the metal slimes in Waterfall. But probably going to see more moving towards Ice Cave for Eykir from here. It's a good proximity play, and at this point we're fairly certain it's going to have something to unlock progression.
So, looking at the strategy Eykir is using on Carry, the melees are not doing too much damage, but the red mage is unloading those 2 nuke casts, and the white wizard is starting to put up some invis stacks as damage poison comes out, so that's a bunch of damage all across the party.
Invis stacks for evasion, heal 2 magic from the 2 white casters, while sword swings come out and Thunder takes down the thief and the red mage and puts the white mage on a knee. Meanwhile, Serisan stacking up white shirt and Biz 2 casts as Kraken pops some fire 2 out. Good thing improved dark is not enabled. That dark does almost nothing. Life 2 full revive of the red mage in battle. That is what the power of that life in battle flag. There's the thief coming back up at full health. Swing from the knight. Ice 3 does not do the damage. Ink is a free turn for Eykir. Swing, doesn't have a nuke charge, gonna go with ice and gonna go with fade. Oh, there goes the knight down for Eykir, but ice 3 coming out, swing out, and meanwhile Serisan dealing with Kraken in faster time even. Fade gets the kill, so both our runners have dealt with a fiend, and life 2 comes up. Both of them are out of their respective dungeons. This is divergence, but very tight, and Serisan gonna check what the caravan has, see if we get a shop item.
Indeed, because if it is not there, then... Oh, there it is. Because otherwise that would have only left Gaia, which would have been locked behind the floater.
Yep,
so with that chime, that's full access to Sky. Might even see it sooner than later, with all the gear Serisan has accrued. I'd say it's more than enough for that.
Serisan probably is in a situation after dealing with carry that easily, could go straight to the desert and check maybe the, definitely going to check the early encounters. If you can find a blue stake or some sandworms off that first quick encounter here in the desert, you could put on some levels really fast. There's some steak and wings, not a horrible encounter potentially. Meanwhile, Eykir does go to Volcano. That was a no fun police from Serisan. Definitely doesn't want to deal with those R-Ankleos.
Sandworms are a pretty good option.
Yeah, looks like Serisan is going to take a few sandworm fights, or at least take one to see how thick they roll. 300 or less, I mean, you can find a pack of 1 or 2 of them, take another fight maybe. Nope, Serisan is just like, I know how thick they are, I can come back later, I'm going into Mirage. At this point, they only need to know where the key and the rod are. We know the shop item plus the cube in C got them into go mode, or got them into sky, and Volcano, as we saw from Eykir, was free the moment they got the canoe.
And in terms of equipment, between the Exca that Serisan has found in ODS and the Massa that they know where to find in Le Fane, which we'll cover for the Chaos fight, that's pretty much all the equipment Serisan will need.
Indeedly do. Plus Serisan having found that white shirt and the power bonk, I mean, you've got your evasion, you've got your buff magic. Yeah, temper and fast were on the same level 5 magic, but you can meter them out and make it work. Mud goals, not usually a horrible encounter once you've got some levels on you in that blue detail, but goes right past it, continues on. Gonna check the incentive chest here in the bottom left. Normally the adamant and vanilla, hopefully this is gonna be our key, but it might be the crystal or rod. At this point I think it's gonna be the key, which leads us to the floater. We would need to get the floater at some point. There is the key indeed. That is a rod away from go mode, and I'm assuming Canaria locked is going to be the crystal or the floater. Or the rod, because that could get us, there's still many options. And that is the wrong eye on the eye tile in ice. That is the Phantom. It's guarding a ribbon. That's huge to see. First ribbon for Serisan, or for Eykir, I should say.
And if I'm not mistaken, Eykir did not have the levels on that White Wizard to cast Exit, which is a bit unfortunate in Ice.
Yeah, even starting at level 10, these parties did not see that many fights thus far, so their levels are only in the 10 to, I think, 13 to 16 range from Eykir to Serisan. They've got good magic, but they're not bothering to take many fights in these earlier dungeon locations. Yep, 15 for Eykir, 60 for Serisan. And slow 2 from the R-Hydra pack. That's fun. But the thing about R-Hydras is Ice 3 is a sweeper that kills them, and they're running, wow, those are fairly thin. 188 and less to kill those R-Hydras, and a 4-pack is worth enough experience to take.
So while Serisan is going through the Bridge of Destiny, I'll put out a neat little play I saw from Eykir, using that flag that's active in this flag set, that when you get new, when your maximum MP for a level is increased on a promoted character, they do get new MP in that to go along with it, and they use that to recharge level 5 magic on that White Wizard on taking an undead pack, and that was enough to be able to cast Exit. Neat.
Yep. That is one of the newer flags introduced, and I think this actually is a new flag for this tournament, at least first time I've seen it in a tournament, and it is very, very tech handy. When you're diving into Topher, for instance, if you have to use a lot of early charges into Fiends, if you leave yourself a few levels on your party members, so you level up in a Fiend fight or on a walking grind, you can recharge your levels of magic between Fiend fights. Serisan, two tiles away from Tia's room, but no robot chicken found. Finds some airs though, and gets past. Okay, no robot chicken for Serisan, sadly. Defense sword, gonna go with white shirt, so evasion stacks first. Does he choose to do the nuke? Does not have fast, so there he goes. Has fast on one of the red mages. Did not have enough magic to get, or money to get fast on both. Probably gonna go back and fix that. Tia hits pretty hard. Evasion stacks coming out after the swing. Probably gonna see some heal magic coming out. Goes with the swing. Goes for white shirt, nuke, and temper. Okay, not going with any heal magic. This is just going to head straight swing. You got 2 full ruse stacks equivalent on the knight. Swing with that sword. Xcal does 143. Nuke coming in 143. Tia trying to take out that nuking red mage. Does not get it down and out, so it does try and go for Ice 3 out of Newcast. Newcast coming out of the one that had been tempering and fast before. 271 for the Xcal swing. Ice 3 comes out 49. Trying to shatter the Frozen Dragon. 352 with the nuke. That is a high roll. 90 damage though. All of these fiends, I should mention, are rolled 100 to 200 on their XP, so they can be fairly thick. And there you go. That is a Tia taking care of level 19 for Serisan's party. Second orb lit, and we're still under 32 or under 33 minutes in this race. This is a fairly fast seed for what is right now floaterless.
Speaking of floater, Eykir is making his way through Waterfall himself.
Serisan stopping in at the Matoya dock because it's easier to get to Canaria without having to loop around the entire world. Takes a second to try and go to Matoya's and wait, I don't have the crystal yet, so ends up heading down. This is one of those few places you don't think you can actually dock, but you can, along with the Melman Northern dock, which almost never gets used. Or sorry, the Provoca Northern dock, I should say, near the Peninsula of Power. Eykir trying to deal with some metal slimes, enjoying that as the cello is found. That is a Womp loot. So at this point, Earth leads to progression. That would be the floater is in Earth. The floater takes them to the bottle turn-in, and the bottle turn-in ends up leading to the rod. So it would be bottle, the crystal, the rod.
That is very unfortunate. Of course, Serisan doesn't have all the information to come to that conclusion, and naturally doesn't go straight for Earth, as that would be a fairly foolish play under most circumstances. And will instead full clear the inner sea like Eykir did a moment ago.
Well, Serisan not bothering to check any more boxes, actually having a fairly solid set of gear for the party. Does know where those gold bracelets are, so you can go and purchase them for the red mages. Honestly, the only thing he doesn't have is enough pro rings or ribbons. Has found the one loose ribbon. If they do go to Volcano, you will be able to get, or sorry, Ice Cave will be able to get that incentive ribbon, but that's just icing on the cake. Does not go in the top left room there. Does not get that opal. That was the big grab out of Volcano Agama floor for Eykir, as Eykir is in ordeals. And red dragons have stone touch. Good thing there's some softs in the inventory. Normally they're just really evasive, but now they're evidently spliced with cockatrice. Or would it be basilisk? You know, they're reptilian, so it'd be, because red dragons are spliced with basilisk's DNA.
Anyway, I believe that at this point Eykir has made all the turns that are needed to make through. Yep, that's the end of the pillar maze, so about to get both that Excal and was it the Oxiel?
Ordeals has the Oxiel, yes. So, gonna find progression regardless, as Serisan is on to carry, having found the Womp that was the Rubian Volcano. That they now have 3 of, because they started with 2. Gary didn't have too much to worry about when Eykir took this fight, and Saracen's at higher levels with better gear. There's the swing with the Excal, 295, higher levels doing a lot more damage, 214 from the nuke. Again, Dark is not effective in this flag set. Fade, 176. Fade coming out, nuke, and swing. Does the Fade get the job done? 115, there you go. Serisan having 3 orbs lit in 3650. This is, as said, fairly jetty, but given the chain of events that needs to occur for Serisan to actually get into Earth and finish this fight and make it to Topher, we're still probably about 15 minutes away from finishing this unless there's some amazing encounter manip.
I see that Eykir is taking a detour to go promote, taking a shot at the buff to Bahamut fight that's required for that.
Yep, instead of just getting promoted, you have to fight Bahamut, who has pretty much equivalent stats to Tia, I believe. I don't remember if it was Tia or Tia 2, but of course that's not accounting for the 100 to 200% experience or roll up for health and the shuffled skills and the like. Not to mention those 2 dragons on either side. The left side is actually a gas D encounter and the right side is a blue D encounter, so that's another fight they can take for some experience post-promotion.
And the Bahamut went down in no time, must not have rolled that far up in HP. And so Eykir ends up with a freshly promoted ninja who actually can equip that katana, unlike Saracen's party.
Yep, Eykir not taking the fight with the secondary dragons, just wanted the promotion and get the heck out of there. Is going directly into sea, gonna get the item from mermaids, gonna try and kill a kraken, as Serisan finds dazzling giants and is not bothering to check any spare boxes, is going straight through the loop of ice, gonna get the ribbon, go, great, I have to go to ice. Or, great, I have to go to Earth.
And Eykir finds the joke hint. There's always one of them.
There's always the hints that say, this person has the thing you just found from the place you were, or the one that's literally just no. That was the literally just no. And the Phantom nearly kills the White Mage for Serisan, just gonna run. The Phantom is ridiculously painful, both hard to kill and does a lot of damage, and does almost no experience or gold gains. So, the bad eye, the wrong eye, where the right eye should normally have been.
And with that, Serisan has full cleared the inner sea, so I believe that means that he's got the bad news. Time to double the path.
Yep, it's going to be the floater or the crystal. If it's the crystal turns into the floater, and then we get the Masa and we get the rod out of Lefane or Gaia and Lefane respectively. Or the crystal turns into the rod, which we get out of Gaia from the fairy. Serisan going back and getting that level 5 magic that they did not get on this first of the 2 red mages because they were lacking the gold at the time. Unfortunately, 73,000 gold is not enough to get 2 gold bracelets because I think they rolled at like 40,000 gold in Canaria.
But it is enough to get, well, I didn't see the whole thing, but I believe that's Nuke, Fast, and Temper on both the red mages, so all your buff needs in one shot.
Yep, not going to bother with life or exit on those red mages. That's what the white mage is for. They already have life 2 on every party member. And Serisan saying, I don't care about other boxes, I only want to kill a speed bump that is the vampire, and and get the item behind the vampire. There's the cube. That is Sky fully unlocked for Eykir. Eykir dumping that ice shield. You assume that would go on that ninja because it's promoted, but you got to remember, if you take that wood shield off the ninja, it loses the wood evade. So you cannot run a ribbon. You have to have the helm. You cannot run a fire shield or fire armor or likewise. You have to have that low-level armor on there to get that absurd evasion gain. But hey, it doesn't matter how hard someone hits if they can't hit you.
Right, all you need is one stack of invis, which usually just do by accident with some white caster using enemies too, and boop, that's capped evade on the ninja.
And there we go. Serisan gets the floater, exits out, and gets to make a quick ship ride down to the Ryokan Desert to hop into the sky, and then it's just a couple flights down south to get the crystal, get the Masa, and then Matoya Cave stop before going back to Earth. The full circle. Full clear seed, and yet we're still only at 42 minutes. Serisan saving some menuing, popping the bottle while getting the floater. That is a nice little optimization. Speaking of optimizations, we do have the modification to Gaia. Normally you would not be able to see the item shop right here or a path going straight up. Oh, slab hint, whatever. You would not have this store here or this path coming up. You'd have to go all the way around.
Yes, that Eykir is making use of the encounters in Sea Shrine to just bump the levels up a bit further on the party, especially that Gershark and Big Eye encounter.
The Gershark Big Eye encounter is an EXP Pinata encounter usually. The Gersharks are a bit MDef, or pretty high on MDef, but those Big Eyes are very juicy for experience. Serisan has the crystal, is going to get that Masa, which we knew rolled up. So that knight is going to be swinging a Masa +2. Or he could put that on to one of the red mages if he wants to swing the X-Cal for the moment. But, I mean, a Masa +2 versus an X-Cal that rolled down, you want the Masa.
So Eykir has put up Kraken. I assume the fight will not go that much different from Serisan. And just blitzing it down with whatever stronger spells you have and the X-Cal. Well, taking the time to put up some white shots with the White Wizard. I can respect that too. Swing with the X-Cal for hits for 186. Fire 2 from Kraken will be modified by the hit 2 that's coming up from the White Wizard. And from the Red Wizard. Now another nuke and another heal too. 340 from the nuke, probably Kraken about to go down. For hit for 321 from the X-Cal, and that's the second orb lit for Eykir.
Eykir out of C, has the cube. There's Serisan getting the rod from the crystal turn in. Looks at the black belt and goes, do I want it? No, I don't care. I don't want to grind at this point, even if I know where there's a grind tile, which at this point there has not been a really good grind tile found. So, yes, at least for a solo grind.
The whole point of the black belt is that either you look for equipment or you do a grind. You do not do both in the same seed.
Yep. Eykir in the desert, go into Mirage. And go into Sky as Serisan is on the full beeline, rediving Earth to kill a Lich. The thing that was so irrelevant most of the time that I forgot its name for a moment. Eykir not bothering with any of Mirage 1 and 2's chests, understandably so. They are in go mode. They are hoping to find the key or the rod here in Mirage, so they can go straight into progression. They will find that it is kind of, well, have to go everywhere else they haven't been, but some catch up. We still haven't seen what's in Topher, so Serisan may have a seemingly substantial lead here, but one bad dive into Topher could immediately negate any bonus or any advantage.
That's the reason we call it the Great Equalizer.
Now, we are not running off of any of the mid-Topher or short Tophers in this tournament. We are running off the vanilla Topher layout, so they've got several floors to navigate, even between the Fiends.
Now, to be fair, with the life 2 on every party member and so many ribbons, that will be a couple layers of safety for Topher. There's always the potential for it to go wrong anyway, because that's what Topher does.
Indeedly do. Key for Eykir and on into the sky as Serisan is a floor away from a speed bump. So far, we have not seen too many very dangerous scripts on any of these encounters. We've seen some annoying scripts that could, with lower levels or less gear, really mess with the party. But, I mean,
well, didn't the imps have
jetty.
Didn't the imps have a fire through or something? At least those are the imps, you can just encounter manipulate your way past them.
Yes, as did the crawls have some stun magic. But again, we had level 10 starting, so they didn't actually wipe to that. So Serisan, meanwhile, speed bump gun on into the skies to make it to Topher and make the dive. If they've got the pots and the health, they just house up and head right in.
Yep, 99 heal pots.
Serisan with the stock party of Knight, Red Mage, White Mage into Topher at just about 48 minutes. This is blitzing this flag set. Finds Quad Gasty, has the magic. Ice 3 is effective against them, plus the nuke cast, and obviously if you level up, you reset those charges. So take this, get a huge chunk of experience. They'll probably just refresh those charges immediately. Oh, they have Stone Touch. This is a less tasty of an encounter.
Well, that will still be a couple levels on everyone but the White Wizard.
Oh yeah, 16,000 experience between those three primers, and there's the blue tile instead of the bad eye which you saw in ice. Yeah, a fun fact, that quad green dragon encounter in Topher with the vanilla game was so broken it buffer overflowed, I believe, the experience gain because it was such a high experience.
I see that Serisan is opting to just stay on this floor some more for a grind, probably.
You know, I don't blame Serisan for doing this because there's always the worry of what's known as nuke safety. A high roll nuke or nuclear can hit 400 damage. If your party members are sub 400, you are risking a wipe of the party or wipe of your key party members if you don't have enough protection from it, because the ribbon doesn't do anything against nuclear annihilation, even if Nintendo Power said it did.
Yes, that's the reason you never see random players pick up a fire. And yes, that was Serisan popping open the loot plate and doing a quick grind before the actual dive.
Yep, uses the exit to get out and heal up and save, wants to keep that experience. And back in at just around 50 minutes. So, sub 50 is beyond possible at this point. Meanwhile, Eykir takes care of a Dragon Queen in the Sky Palace, has 3 orbs lit, and is now in that where the heck is my rod, and knows, oh great, it's in Earth, or something's in Earth to get me to the rod. Oh wait, they have not checked Canaria yet. They need to get Canaria locked. Eykir using the Matoya dock just like Serisan did to get to Canaria locked, as Eykir or as Serisan is dealing with some worms. I've always found
Usually
it funny that
usually you just don't bother with encounters like this, but with some pretty good expendable spells on level 1, that's pretty decent use of those, since none of the fins are really that susceptible to Ice 3.
yep.
It does deal neutral damage to Kraken, but you actually want something more powerful for that.
Indeed, and of course, as you mentioned before, the levels restore magic means that Serisan is not super worried about running out of charges, and more levels is more survivability, especially when you come into Lich 2, who vanilla starts with Nuke. But this isn't vanilla Lich, this could be a thin Lich, this could be a thick Lich, and this Lich could have Nuke, Nuclear, or many other things. 355 from the Masa, 296 from the Nuke, 284 from another Nuke. Quad X does nothing. This Nuke should finish it off. 342. Speed bump, be gone.
That was on the upper end of the HP it can roll, since that's 500 in vanilla, I think, and with that scaling, if it lands at maximum 200%, that's 1000 HP.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked Serisan didn't take that. Quad Agama is pretty juicy experience as well, and Ice 3, if it's expendable, does a good job against them. But here we go on to carry. Gonna go with Swing, gonna go with buff magic, temper, and fast rather than trying to nuke. I get it, you got the Masa. Fade comes out, 148. Swing comes out with fast, 600. That was a thin carry, and she never had a chance.
Yes, I understand not wanting to waste those last two nuke casts from level 8, since the level 5 nukes will be not as desirable to spend with Temper being on the same level.
Most definitely. Eykir diving Earth to get that floater, as Serisan is already on the seafloor, pulling up to Kraken 2. Checking up, topping off the life, and here we go. Swing. Choosing to with Fade, not bother with evasion. This is temper, this is fast, this is swing. Fade comes out 222, swing without the fast. Ooh, this is evasive. That was a total miss. And 11 hits for 900. That is a white mage down. Temper and fast have landed. Life 2, nuke, and swing. Nuke comes out 107. Life 2 comes out full revive of the white mage. That Kraken 2 noticeably goes after again. 371, again, very evasive. No lock has been purchased. Gonna go with swing, gonna go with nuke, gonna go with life 2 again. Nuke coming in, 158. Tornado doesn't do enough to wipe, but it brings all but the knight into range of insta-death from a nuke or a nuclear. And we haven't seen any nukes or nuclears just yet from any party members. There are plenty in the pool. Fade coming out, 156. That is a dead Kraken. So much for fearing nuke and nuclear on Kraken, but there's still a Tia to come.
Can I point out that aside from this tornado, every single move from this Kraken was punched the white mage?
It's very appropriate. Now, the randomizer crew has sorted through and verified there is no statistical, no programming reason for Kraken to go after white mages, but it just happens. It favors punching the white mage no matter where it is. Meanwhile, Cure 4 comes out on Tia. That's nice to see on Tia rather than on Chaos, because Chaos can roll up to over 3,000 hit points. Tia can roll pretty thick too. Swing with the Masa and fast, 678. This is not a dodgy dragon. Stop comes out for no effect on the knight. Does take out a red mage and the white mage, but Ice 3 from a red mage. We're going to see swing. We're going to see Ice 3 again. Cure 4 would unstun the party, but there you go. 1100 damage in 10 hits. Serisan makes their way out of the Tia floor into the Chaos floor. Just has to get past some encounters as Eykir in Sky trying to wrangle up the last items to get into Earth and get into go mode.
So, Serisan getting in position for the Chaos fight. Moving Ribbon onto the White Wizard. Not switching off the Exile, I think? Or was the Knight always on the Massa? Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, they switched to the Moss, or he switched to the Massa the moment he got it. The Massa +2 versus that X-Cal rolled down. It was a no-brainer, just straight up power. Swirl coming in, just over 100 damage for 2, less than 100 for the other 2. Does bring the entire party, minus the Knight, under 300. So very worrying there. Heal 2 gonna come out. Gonna top up some party members. Temper comes out on the Knight. The Knight did use a defense sword, so we had fasted, we've had defense for evasion stacks, and it's in the least likely place to be attacked. 3 for 354 though. This is again a evasive Master Fiend. Gonna go with heal, gonna go with white shirt. Wants to stack up the evasions in case Chaos starts to punch rather than cast. Massa swing out for 345 and 4 hits. Wait, white shirt power bonk. Not even gonna bother using some heal casts with those red mages if they have them. Red mage evaded that hit from Chaos. Power bonk comes out. Power bonk will also improve the accuracy. Part of the Saber spell's ability is improve the accuracy of the caster, so this can help with the evasion. Swing with 2 Sabers cast, 537, Cure 3 coming out from the red mages to bring some party members back up off the knee. White mage gets double casted, is fully healed up. More white shirt from the white mage. Cure 3 coming up to top off the Knight, and a swing. 387. Cure 3 again, making sure that Knight stays alive. That red mage that's on a knee is just there as a blade of meat shield at this point. Gonna switch to Fade. The evasion stacks have worked. That Knight is not taking a hit. 91 damage from Fade is nothing, but 499 is nothing to scoff at. This Chaos is probably on its last 500 or so hit points. 248, a nice rolled Fade, and there you go. GG's in chat for Serisan, our winner of this race at a race time at GG time of 58:23. Followed by a near immediate DNF forfeit from Eykir. GG's Eykir. What a race. Serisan, welcome up. Good job. GG's.
That seed was really kind, except for that floater. Heck, that floater.
Yeah,
Yes.
You have to go everywhere floater.
Well, I mean, it was right there. We could have gotten it earlier than either of us did. GG Eykir.
Yep, GG, Serisan. Did you last locate it also?
I did.
Yeah.
Absolute last location.
Yeah, I can learn from Winfox, because one of his favorite plays is just going into Rodless Earth to see what the item is. And thought about it, it's like, no, it's going to be Crescent Lake, it's not going to be Earth.
I hate doing it. Even though I had exit for the longest time, I was using exit, like, pretty consistent.
Yeah.
The encounter manip was nice. I saw the black belt, considered it, threw it away.
Same.
I don't know, the whole premise that I had as far as a strategy going into Topher was, I have 20-something Life 2 casts. Throw my face at it. And you saw that on the Kraken 2 fight.
The lack of care of evasion stacks was quite interesting.
You know, you can only get punched one character at a time.
But it's
And-
hilarious that even when you revived it, it went straight for the white mage.
That did entertain me. The targeting algorithm in FFR is hilarious. The fact that enemies target as they attack is just great.
So, the seed was a go-everywhere seed, but it was also very jetty. Any comments on the parties and how that affected your routing?
It didn't really affect my routing, like the party selection. What did affect things is the key item thought process. So a lot of this flag set is what can I skip because I can logic break. And then remembering that you logic broke and remembering the hints that play into that. And like coming in and seeing, oh, we have was it the slab, the ruby, and the loot?
Yeah.
And I was just like, excuse me? Like, why? Why are you like this game? And then the characters we could recruit, well, we got the herb right away, so that threw out the bonus from the thief, I think it was. But like, what were we going to get a benefit out of? So we could have gotten the cube instead of doing C, and the adamant from the black belt, which I feel was like to the loot or something, or the canoe.
It was to the canoe.
Yeah. So like the black belt would have been great, except oh wait, you needed to get the floater because the crystal was in Gaia. Like, there was no logic breaking this seed. And that was kind of the unique thing about this particular seed in these flags, is you just had to do it. Like, it just was what it was.
We were commenting before the race that I don't think we've ever had a vanilla inner C before. There's always been at least one item of like crystal, herb, adamants, TNT that you could get to do an early turn in. And not this time.
This was actually my first seed where I got the loot right off the gate, so that was kind of interesting. Oh, no wonder I could actually run. I forgot that the fighter had a plus 15 luck.
Yes. Yeah, so you really didn't need the thief. I mean, I switched out one of my remages for a thief. Probably a bad play once I saw, fast and temper are all at level 5 and only learnable by remage. The thief, in hindsight, was not a great play because it didn't really matter. The fighter was running just fine, so was the white mage. I wasn't getting hit at all by the thief.
I mean, the evasion thief is super good when it's good. But
if you don't route well, it doesn't matter. And my routing was awful.
I think there's no such thing as ideal routing in this seed, but I feel like I came kind of close by like aggressively diving dungeons that I had no reason to be in.
Yeah, you definitely took the right route. Going to ordeals to get access to sea, to get access to air, that was the route to take instead of me going to fire and ice and getting nothing.
Yeah.
The ribbon, the katana, the ice dive wasn't a complete waste for you, and obviously one big nose, Serisan checking Titan's trove and finding the bonk and a ribbon in there.
Oh,
yes.
That's good. I wasn't going there.
Amazing.
That's all I got floater, and but that was too late.
So I dove at Sarda because Defense Sword is a means of clearing some dungeons. And I was like, well, the encounter manip here, it's one step and then like a billion steps of no encounter. And I was like, I can get the items from Titans and walk it out and save, all within the second encounter steps. And then I was like, wow, this paid out way better than I thought. Cool.
Did you get hit by the fire imps to start? Fire 3 imps?
I reset out of so many encounters that I don't think I ever fought imps.
Well, my play when I get first level 3 spells or nukes is I just go straight to Topher. So my first step, I'm like, imps, cool, run, fire 3. Oh, please don't hit me twice more. Because I almost had to remake my party.
That was the encounter. It was like, wow, good thing to start at level 10 and could survive it.
Yeah, thankfully.
So my thought process on that, because I thought the same thing that you did. Like the idea of run off to Topher because I've got nuke magic, like who cares? I thought about just walking straight to Topher, but then I was like, wait a minute. If there's a black mage at King or Sarah, then I want to know what the black magic is to determine if I want it. And I need to know what the white magic is to determine if the white mage died. And, it's a really big balancing act at that point of like, man, this nuke magic is super great. It lets me just kill things. And then at the same time, wait, I actually have to I have to look. I have to figure out what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that's fair. It also helped. We had one of each level 3 spell, one first or third level. So the red mages were just wrecking things.
I never bought Fire 3. I just never had the time to do it when it was relevant. So I had
short on money also.
Man, gold in these flags is so hard to come by for a while, and it's like, oh yeah, I hit a chest with 3,000 gold. That's game changing for me. And then I'm like,
oh yeah.
At the same time, it's already gone in 2 purchases.
It shows level 3 and 4. They're pricey.
Yeah,
serious money for that.
I basically bought Fade and left Elfland to do all the things and get frustrated that it was Bottle at Marsh or something. But
yes, a required Bottle at Marsh.
Yeah, I know it was required, but I'd hoped for it to be something like Canoe.
Yeah. You have to be immediately useful and not later maybe useful.
Yeah. I mean, this was, for the weird layout of everything, it was still a pretty jetty seed.
Yeah, and I never really felt endangered by any of the random encounters either. None of them had anything serious except for those Fire 3 imps.
Yeah, I was very quick on the encounter minute the entire time. I felt like I was on top of it with the encounter minute this whole seed.
Yeah, that's pretty beneficial in this one with the big gap between 1 and 2.
Well, GG's to the both of you. How about we step into final thoughts with our winner on stream, Serisan, continuing on the winner's bracket.
These flags are really awesome, and I love them, and they really make me think. And I've been telling people for a while, these flags favor people who have wily old man jujitsu skills, where it's not about the brute forcing of it, it's not about perfect execution, but thinking through and planning in weird ways. So I really enjoy these flags. Thank you, Fellison, Thavian Hawk, and who was tracking on this one?
Sir Mecklin.
Mecklin, who is also going to be tracking the next race that starts in about 40 minutes. Thank you, all of you, for the stream stuff. Thank you, SG, for hosting, and GG's Eykir.
Bit on that. Yeah, thanks for the hosting and the commentary and the tracking. Appreciate all the work that gets put in there. And yeah, GG's Serisan, and good luck in the round of 4, and you're going to have quite a wait. No one's even caught up to us yet.
Yeah, I kind of jumped on all my matches, so...
Same.
Final thoughts, Fellison, my co-com.
Not much. Just reminding everyone here that, as Susan pointed out, there will be another race here in about 40 minutes. It will be Odrand versus Budgemano, so stay tuned for that. And congrats to our runners.
Indeedly do. This is the first of actually 3 races in a row here on Speed Gaming 1 for the evening. Top of the hour, we will have Odoron versus Budgemano, with Serisan, our winner on this race, in comms with Oslato, and Mecklin handling the tracking today, as well as for tonight's race further on. Serisan again in the booth with Catnip for a Phoenix versus Jay Scheidel race. So busy night. Feel free to stay here on on Speed Gaming 1 to watch all those amazing matches. If you've liked what you've seen so far in this race and other races like it, feel free to go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, where you will find the randomizer itself, as well as links to the wiki with all the intel and guides on how to play and trackers to use on how to get with and learn and whatnot, as well as links to the Discord, which allows you to talk with all these cool people. And yeah, it's a fun community. It's a great thing, and all that jazz. My brain is starting to melt, so I have been Thavian Hawk. With me in the booth today has been Fellison and Mecklin. GG's to Serisan and Eykir. Y'all have a good evening.